Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, as we take a brief detour from our current righteous cause to attend a party, which does seem like a proper use of our time and resources. To be fair, this is at the request of the Church of Iomedae, at least off the books. Not that Vex really cares about that sort of thing, but it's also a chance to get to know Daeran a bit better, which we do care about, and also to rummage through his family mansion. So, you know, there's that too. Anyway, we'll get this taken care of, and if we've got time left over, we'll knock out a few of these armies too. Let's take our party to a party. Heaven's Edge. Count Arende's family estate. The manor was abandoned after a tragic event claimed the lives of everyone inside in a single day. No, Kaz! That's fine. I'm sure he had better things to do.
My not so numerous, but nonetheless dearest guests. About a year ago at my last birthday party, I assured you all that I nurtured a deep-seated hatred for boring people who give protracted speeches in the misplaced belief that their inner thoughts are of any interest to anyone but themselves. Now I am a whole year older and also a full-fledged crusader, an honorable position that requires me to be as dull, pedantic, and vexing as I possibly can. Therefore, a speech it is.
Daeran's face is impossible to read. He has his usual half-smirk fixed in place, his eyes gleaming with excitement. But his anxious gaze wanders for just a moment too long before he continues his speech.
The revered Læknishendr, my guardian and tutor, often told me that those who live a sinful life may expect to join the abyssal hordes after they die. This is why their path is the most despicable of all. A part of their soul may return to Mendev in the abominable form of a demonic invader. Every time we see a demon, we might as well think about it. What if this wretched creature used to be your great-great-grandfather? What if certain parts of this pointy-tailed beauty used to belong to your pious cousin? They say that the demons represent the sins of the souls they are made of. Succubi emerge out of lustful souls. Vandals turn into Abracandilu, gluttons become Nabasu. I, for one, am determined to commit as many different sins as possible, so that the distributive mechanism of the abyss breaks when it tries to decide what to do with my soul.
I guess that is a noble endeavor?
You, my dearest guests, will be my assistants in this complicated task. Eat, drink, and indulge yourselves in whatever vices you can. Let nobody leave this house as righteous as they entered it. Live every day like it's your last. After all, nobody knows when that day will arrive, do they?
Daeran smirks, finishes his wine, and tosses the glass to the ground. How interesting. Inquisitor Liotr whispers in your ear from behind. Liotr, I don't suppose you've already found something? Nothing, really. I just took note of a few things. I attempted to find out whether anything unusual or mysterious has happened to the Count over the last 10 years. During my conversations with his acquaintances, 2 people noted that he never speaks of the revered Nestrin, the priest of Iomade who was his guardian and tutor. Yet he just mentioned Nestrin in his speech, whatever that might mean. Gotta say, Liotr, I was really kinda hoping for more than that. Some of his servants complained about strange occurrences in the house, like objects moving by themselves or candles going out. Of course, that could simply be a figment of their imagination. It is also very well known that the Count often invites various spellcasters to entertain him, and encourages them to use their magic in mischievous ways. Practically the whole of Mendev knows the story about the 3 drunk wizards and their teleportation race across the roofs of Canabris after a party at the Count's house. What I'm trying to say here is that any fluctuations in residual magic at his house are not at all surprising. There was the matter of the abduction, however. A gang of bandits kidnapped the Count hoping for a ransom, but the only reward they got was death. Afterwards, the Count told everyone that he had hired the bandits himself as a joke. The other mercenary squad that freed him and executed the bandits was also in his employ. Right. Daeran told us about that. Not one of his prouder moments. Nobody really wanted to delve too deep into this case after confirming the identities of those wretched cutthroats. But there was one disturbing fact about it all, and I don't mean the Count's bizarre idea of fun. The mercenaries who supposedly freed him had also cut off the bandits' heads, after they had already killed them. Daeran neglected to mention that part, but I suppose I can see why. Wait, so you're telling me that someone decapitated all the bandits that kidnapped Daeran? Yes. Perhaps I wouldn't have noticed this detail had I not visited Heaven's Edge right after the tragic incident. I remember that we also found several headless bodies, both of guests and demons. We thought they had been decapitated during the fight. You know, I have been finding a slightly larger number of severed heads in my backpack than usual lately. Do you think that might be related? What? That is an alarming coincidence. Now we have another reason to conduct an investigation. It is crucial that we find out what exactly happened at that tragic feast. Sounds like a plan. How do we do that? Now that's the hardest part. I need to dive deep into the past of this place, which requires casting several different spells over some time. It would be very convenient for me if nobody interrupted the process, especially the Count himself. I don't think he remembers my face, but a suspicious stranger casting unknown spells might attract his attention. All in all, what I want you to do is to distract the master of the house. Right now he is playing host in the very place I'd like to start with. And I distract him by... I don't know. Maybe your companions can assist you somehow? Or you can take a look around. Perhaps there's something that can help us. Yeah, okay. I'll just wing it then. Good luck. Come back to me when the Count leaves. I will tell you everything I managed to find out, and maybe even show you something. Oh, Liotr, you should really know better than to leave me to my own devices, but here we are. Risk, helpful? You two having a moment there? Didn't realize it was that kind of party. I can't stop thinking about the last party in this manor. All of the guests died. Every single one of them. Then why'd you come? The decorative plants are in a miserable state. They've been neglected for many years. That subtle pop-up seems to be indicating we should take this wine to the Count. But that's too easy. I want to try something different. So? I can't imagine how lovely this manor must have been before the war. I yearned to set up my easel in one of the pleasant little alcoves and paint to my heart's content. Well, good for you. I'll see if I can bring it up with Daeran at some point. Ooh, skill check. Hey, Lan. Seela? So I've somehow landed at the party of a royal brat? Go figure. You never know when, or if, you'll get another chance to rest and have some fun during wartime. I'd rather take my chances while I can. I wholeheartedly agree. Regil? This estate could be remade into a formidable defensive outpost. It should be expropriated for the sake of the war effort, and the owners compensated. After victory is secured. Well, I do like the idea of having my own mansion. But I wouldn't want to do that to my boy Daeran. The brickwork looks strangely uneven. Oh, we flubbed the check. Nenio, you had one job. I adore this estate. So much beauty, so many quiet nooks. The door is sealed, and looks like it hasn't been opened in a very long time. I'll take that. Oh, it's you! Do you remember me? I called upon you to save the Count in Canabris. Well, congratulations on not being horribly slaughtered. Though I notice you still don't have a name, so, you know, don't get used to it. Everything here is just so sparkly. I'm just gonna take a look at this thing and put it right back. Honest. Waljif, you really don't have to try so hard. I don't think Daeran cares. I've stolen like 12 things since I walked in. I don't like it in here. This party is stupid. Wow, Ember. Surprisingly negative. The psychological premise for mortals' attraction to sites of mass murder, or gluttony. Which article from my encyclopedia should I focus on now? What, you can't multitask? I think that was everyone. But we're not done stealing yet, so let us continue our tour. It seems there's a hidden cache inside the wall. You can see a keyhole among the decoration. We'll have to remember that. Countess Selena Nevia Dara Arende, with her infant son, Daeran. Unlike typical aristocratic portraits, this one depicts a young mother having fun with her child on a seesaw. Interesting. Ooh. Clear purpose. These bracers allow their wearer to cast healing spells without provoking attacks of opportunity. They also grant a +2 bonus on concentration checks. Okay, that's not bad. Who'd have thought we'd find the perfect gift for Daeran inside a random chest in his bedroom? Won't he be surprised? 1,000 Revolutions. We've already seen that one. The Legend of the Pathfinder by Aaron Rorvey. We have not seen that one. So I will add that to the pile. I actually find myself really anticipating the reader episodes now. But I gotta hold off until we find at least 8 or 10 books. Ah, The Knight with Harrowed Hands. That book gets around. Hey, this looks promising. Nice. Wand of Mirror Image. That'll certainly come in handy. Draven's Hat. The hat of a powerful wizard with the word Draven embroidered on it. Though it looks old and worn, you can still feel the immense power that it radiates. Strangely enough, you are pretty sure that you haven't seen the owner of this hat, neither alive nor dead, and can only imagine what kind of convoluted scheme such a wizard could be working on. Well, based on the context clues, I'm going to assume he's off backing Kickstarter somewhere. +2 profane bonus to intelligence. Interesting. And whenever the wearer casts slow or haste spells, they're quickened, which is very nice. Plus, once per day, the wearer of the hat can make any spell quickened. Yeah, we'll toss that to Waljev. The alignment restriction won't be a problem for him. Nenia would theoretically make better use of it, but we just don't have room in the party for her right now, as much as I would like her to tag along. It was either her or Ember, and Ember won. Alright, let's go chat up our host. Daeran, who has been watching the guest with an unreadable expression, turns his head to you, and says in a casual tone like he's continuing a conversation that was interrupted, "I have always considered myself an aesthete, not a hero. When doomsday comes, I thought I'd pour myself a glass of 100-year-old wine, sit in the front row, and just watch the world burn. Playing the violin was also an option. Now, I'll be damned if I know how I ended up in the Fifth Crusade. How did I become the companion of a hero chosen by Iomedae?" I wouldn't put too much thought into it, Daeran. Sometimes stuff just happens. Just enjoy the ride. Go with the flow. I'm afraid that is not always the case. Sometimes it is dictated by alien, but wholly deliberate, forces. That's a weird way to put it, but okay. So, tell me more about this place. This estate was once a truly beautiful sight, with its lush gardens and placid ponds. Daeran smiles briefly. It is a genuine smile, quite different from his usual half-smirk. The house itself is not that large, however. This land was part of a border region even before the World Wound, so my ancestors took that into account when laying the foundations. The larger the mansion, the harder it is to defend. I'd gladly give you a tour, but I'm afraid there's not much to see here. I didn't have much time, so my servants only managed to clean up this yard, the Great Hall, and a couple of rooms. There is nothing interesting about them, except perhaps the magical firefighting system, powered by water elementals. I'm not sure it's still functional, though. You don't say. I can think of a few ways to find out. I mean, we could just dump wine on him. That's obviously what the journal was hinting at. But Creed already did that, so I'd like to try something different. Well, it was great talking, Dee. I'm gonna go. Seize your chance to have fun. Almost anything can be forgiven. But boredom, that is a crime against life itself. Well said, you weirdo. Now what can I light on fire? I've never actually done this before, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Well, that doesn't really help. Okay, well, we'll just keep wandering. I'm sure something will pop up. Ah, yes, of course, the cart full of extremely flammable and or explosive booze. Yes, that will do nicely. Stupid elemental! Go back where you came from! I am the owner of this estate, and you will obey me! Oh, well now I'm soaked to the bone. Give me a moment to change my clothes, and don't forget to miss me while I'm gone. It is done. But at what cost? So much premium booze. Spilled before its time. I see you did your part, Commander. Thank you. Now get ready to watch and listen closely. I will unravel the past of this place, and try to show you whatever I find. The hum of voices, laughter, and music fills your mind. Then the visions come, fragmented and hazy at first, before eventually coalescing to reveal a single face. It is a woman of stunning, heavenly beauty, and her delicate features instantly tell you who she is. The family resemblance to Daeran is obvious. My dear guest, the Lady of Heaven's Edge welcomes all of you today. I hope this day is as bright for you as it is for me, because on this day, my only precious, sometimes arrogant but utterly beloved child was born. A child is usually a reflection of their parents and caretakers. Countess, will you allow the humble tutor of this young man to address the guests and the man of the hour as well? A new face appears. It is a handsome old man with a strong, dignified posture and a voice that emanates power. Can't we have just one day without your sermons? It's my birthday, after all. 10 years ago, the young Daeran had an utterly angelic appearance. His table manners and expression lacked the dignity of a true angel, however. Day, I'm sure the revered Nestrin only wanted to hug you and offer you his best wishes on your birthday. Wait, what's that noise? The shrill laughter rings in your ears and reverberates in the base of your skull. In the vision, a Lolito appears before the guests of the estate and gives them an exaggerated, scornful bow. The sorceress of evil has come to your celebration, mortals. Did you prepare a treat for me, too? What do you want, spawn of the abyss? I've already done everything I wanted to. Hey, you, doddering cleric, look around. Don't you notice anything odd? The plague is in your wine, in your food, in the air around you, in your blood. Soon you will all die. Pray to your pathetic goddess and call upon your healing powers all you want, but they're not going to help you. Nothing will help you. I will give you a chance to see it for yourselves, and when I return, the grave realization will have already sunk its teeth into your throats. Oh, how I love watching mortals in their final, desperate hours. The demon finishes her speech with an air kiss to Daeran, making him freeze in horror. And then disappears. Liotr shakes his head and slowly exhales, rubbing his temples. The first appearance of the disease, and the Leto, one of the many sisters of the accursed Monago. So far, everything I've seen matches the official version of events. Who are all those people with Daeran? Countess Selena Arende was Daeran's mother, and one of the most beautiful women in the history of Mendev. She was an Aasimar, just like her son. The old man is the esteemed cleric Nestrin, our count's guardian and tutor. He was well known for his unfaltering faith and iron will. I was only passing acquaintances with him, so I can't tell you anything more than that. I didn't recognize the others, but Daeran told me that the first victims of the disease were his second cousin and the cousin's wife, hailing from the eastern border. Yeah, no offense, but Nestrin can't have been that esteemed, right? Otherwise he would have saved all these people. I can't say for certain, but I believe there was nothing he could have done. Magical diseases are already difficult enough to cure, and this plague struck very fast indeed. Now, we must find out what happened next. Okay, and how do we do that? I can sense the aftershocks of a very strong outburst of emotions and memory somewhere in the west wing of the house. Something must have happened in one of the rooms. So please, check if anyone is in there and distract them if need be. Yeah, I can do that. Just need to find something suitably flammable. Hey, Risk. I see you're helping yourself to some wine. And Helpful is lurking behind that tree like a weirdo. I also notice you two pulled invites, but Kaz and Zorm are nowhere to be seen. That hardly seems fair. I wonder why the demons who attacked Heaven's Edge chose Plague as their weapon. It was so unimaginative. I'm not going to be sad when you're gone. Fun and frolics may shield us from horror and despair, but one should use the shield sparingly. Both this place and its owner make me think how deceptive appearances can be, but I cannot deny that the wine here is very good. Compulsive food consumption may be a symptom of several serious neurological disorders. It may also indicate that the food in question boasts exceptional palatability. How can a single family, or even a person, live in a house large enough for my entire tribe? Don't think I underestimate the importance of quality rest for soldiers. But this revelry isn't rest. It's decadence. You say that like it's a bad thing. There's so much food here. If I let Soot eat everything she wants, she'll become twice as fat and won't be able to fly anymore. This is true, but she will also be adorable. I just saw a portrait of Daeran's mom. So she was an Aasimar too, huh? Some people get a celestial bloodline, tons of money, and a title, while others get horns and a slap in the face. Yep, it's just rough all over, ain't it? I mean, how do you think I feel? I'm like 2 feet tall. They wouldn't let my murder cat pass the front door. Seriously, Kaz eats like one drunk. And all of a sudden, it's this whole big thing. Daeran arches a brow at you, but he doesn't seem to be disturbed in the slightest by your entrance. He's not trying to cover up or get dressed any faster. Commander, I assume that you have an urgent matter that requires my attention? Oh, you know, I was just wondering what this room is, and also you're half naked and I'm trying not to make that a big deal. Smooth. Daeran casts a look around the room as if he had never seen it before. then shrugs carelessly. Just a random room. I told my servants to make some rooms ready. This is one of the rooms they chose. Cool, cool. So, I was just talking to Sociel earlier, and he was really hoping that he could, set up an easel here somewhere, maybe paint some things. What are your thoughts on nude portraits? That sounds like a fine idea. Our cleric will surely turn down a direct request, but if I tell him that we can sell the portrait at a charity auction, why have I never before thought of selling my nude portraits at a charity auction? It will cause a huge scandal, but it will also be for a good cause. This will give those godbotherers something to complain about. You've given me a brilliant idea. No problem. And apologies to So-So. Also, what's the point of putting your clothes on if you're just going to take them off again? I see that you were able to do as I asked. Prepare yourself. This vision might be rather difficult to watch. Young Daeran stands motionless by the Countess's bed. His face is pale with fear, and for good reason. His mother's heavenly beauty is gone. Her smile, once beaming with vitality and happiness, looks more like the grimace of a corpse. Only her golden hair still glows, a sad reminder of the healthy young woman she was just a few hours ago. Mother? Can you hear me, Mother? Day, my boy, how did you get here? The Countess's voice is fading. Don't come any closer. This disease. Mother, listen. The revered Nestrin has sealed the gates. He says that he won't let anyone leave the estate. If the plague reaches the larger settlements, nobody will be able to stop it. He claims this is why the demons attacked us in the first place. They knew that we would call upon the strongest clerics to heal us, and those clerics would catch the disease and die as well. The Fat Baron and his family tried to escape, but 3 armed paladins barred their way and said they would not let them go. Mother, we need help. Canabris is full of clerics, wizards, and demons know who else. They might know how to stop it. We need to get there as soon as possible. We must obey the revered Nestrin. We are the lords of Mendev, and we must protect our people. If the plague, if it reaches Canabris, thousands of innocent people will die. I don't care about any innocents. Daeran's voice rises to a shout. You're ill, Mother. You're dying. You must tell them to open the gates and take you to Canabris. They won't listen to me, but you are the lady of the estate. They can't refuse you. I can't. I must. Please leave, my dearest. Don't lose hope. You can still... A convulsion overtakes the Countess's body. Her last words are swallowed by a long, guttural groan. Liotr wearily rubs his temples, but his face is unreadable. Now I have an answer to one of my many questions. Nobody went to Canabris in search of help, because the revered Nestrin didn't let them. He valued the safety of the city more than the lives of his flock at the estate. What a difficult choice it must have been. I don't get it, man. He just gave up on trying to save the people he was supposed to protect, to save himself, just because it might injure bystanders? The magnitude of potential disaster made him do so. Or perhaps it was a matter of his dignity. No one wants to be responsible for wiping out an entire city. Liotr rubs his chin thoughtfully. I have never been in the revered Nestrin's position, but I know the price of difficult decisions. especially those you have to make quickly. I have no right to judge him, but we must continue our investigation. The next site I'd like to examine is the Great Hall. That is where we found the remains of Nestrin and the demons. I assume that he killed them in a confrontation, but we must make sure of that. Please, help me clear the area so that I can study it. Yeah, I'm on it. You know, Liotr, this would have been a lot easier if we'd just done these rooms in a different order. Hey, Helpful. Yep, that's a table. Oh, I see. We were too far away for the planned scripted event. My bad. Stop trying to talk me into this. You have neither heart nor conscience, Daeran. Even the noble idea of charity becomes a farce when you touch it. I don't think these so-called innocents will suffer from knowing that their money and medicine came from my sinful silhouette. Well, good for you, So-So. You stood up for your principles, refused to indulge Daeran, and prevented money from going to charity. Nice. And repeated dialogue, so I guess we'll just chat with Daeran. Sup, D-bag? There's a feverish gleam to Daeran's eyes, owing to either tipsiness or some overabundance of emotion. Oh there, Vex. That rotter Social refused to sketch me in the nude for charity, but it didn't upset me too much. The faces he made while I was explaining the idea to him were well worth it. He looked very much like a pious matron being confronted with a talking male organ, one that was 2 foot long and being held aloft by a pair of golden angel wings. That is a very vivid picture. How are you enjoying my party? Are you having a good time? Yeah, it's super fantastic extra good. But, how about you, Daeran? Are you enjoying this? Of course I'm enjoying it, Daeran says defiantly. What's wrong? Do you want me to spend my whole life in fear and mourning, blaming myself for what happened? Fine, let's change the subject. I thought the unique ambiance of Heaven's Edge and the fact that we're on the very border with the World Wound would make this celebration special. I thought the past would resurface and make itself known. Daeran smirks bitterly. Well, it seems even ghosts don't wish to attend my parties anymore. What can we do to liven up the evening? Okay, well, drinking contest is the most obvious Vex thing here, but we already did that with Creed, so again, I'm compelled to do something different. Alright, it's really obvious you've got something going on, and this is me saying it, so you know it's serious, because I usually just stab my problems and feed them to my murder cat. But Kaz isn't here, so I mean we could try working this out a healthier way. Oh. Now I can't decide if you're talking like an inquisitor or a self-proclaimed confessor. I hate both equally, of course, and it doesn't matter if you're about to suggest that I pour my heart out to you, or make an honest confession of my misdeeds. The very thought of having such conversations makes my head hurt. I need some fresh air. Yeah, I guess that went about as well as you could, expect it to. Or Daeran. He needs a murder cat. Here we are again, Commander. Liotr looks grim but focused. So, let us take another glimpse into the past. Hey, Risk. A ripple of laughter flows through the hall. It begins as a sweet, charming chuckle, but then turns into a rasping cackle that makes Daeran huddle ever deeper in the corner. Why are you running from me, my sweet prince? Come on, let me touch you. I'll give you... The booming voice of an old man dressed in Iomedean robes shakes the walls of the hall. Get away from him, demon! Let the boy go! By the blade of the Inheritor, you touch him only over my dead body! You are pathetic, old cleric. Are you the guardian of this charming little prince? Well, you guarded him in vain. The disease is already circulating in his blood, and soon he will rot before your very eyes. You won't be able to help him. And I can at least make sure his death is beautiful, clean, and sweet. The demoness turns her eyeless face to Daeran and licks her lips. A coarse laugh escapes the young man's throat. We'll see about that. Liotr turns toward you in astonishment. Droplets of sweat glisten on his temples. Something is wrong, Commander. My spells are not working as expected. It's as if some kind of supernatural explosion occurred here 10 years ago, blending everything together. The magical auras, the emotions, the memories. I will try again to read it. Well, hold on. Is this going to be dangerous? I cannot say for certain, but it is unlikely. The past is in the past, and no one can travel through time, except for some uniquely powerful entities like Aeons, or perhaps the eldest of the First World. Even though the past of this place is horrible, it poses no threat to us in the present. Yeah, and when's the last time we saw any of those things? Just give me a moment to focus. I will try to channel my visions and feelings to you as accurately as possible. Daeran, my boy, what is going on? Liotr's muscular shoulders suddenly begin to shake. The vision he is channeling does not change, but you feel something enormous and chilling silently infiltrate reality around you. The presence of this nameless being becomes almost palpable. Some alien entity is talking to him. Hurry, old cleric, stop him right now. Do you really want to see what happens when... Save me. Can you save me? The presence thickens into something more tangible. The entity is silent, but you feel your blood pulsing in your temples, and each beat brings a new image, or rather, a new notion. Help brings a feeling of relief and safety. Exchange makes the pulse stronger, more demanding. Gate and secret come immediately after. The images become heavier, almost visible. Secret. Keep the secret. Otherwise, death, 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 death. The gruesome images whirl through your mind, filling it with pain and fear. And then it all starts again. Help. Exchange. Secret. Death. That's probably fine. Nestrin stretches out his shaking hand, suddenly looking like a doddering old man instead of a mighty cleric, imbued with holy power. Daeran, wait. The thing you're about to let loose is even worse than these demons. Daeran's body is quivering like a taut bowstring. His eyes dart from the cleric to the demoness, who is frantically casting protective spells. Demons, saints, I'm so fed up with all of you. Burn! A little help here? Okay, it's cool, I'll just handle it myself. Liotr opens his eyes with a groan, then gets back on his feet. His legs are wobbly, his eyebrow is cut, but he seems not to notice. Sincere sorrow is written on his face, as well as a strong hint of horror. What a misfortune. No, what a disaster. Everything is far worse than I imagined. You alright? I really can't afford to be caught with another dead Inquisitor. The strain, the emotions, they overwhelmed me and made me faint like an agitated youngster. It is nothing, really. I will not be able to cast any spells for the rest of the day. But aside from that, I'm fine. Right, so, what the heck was that? The Inquisitor slowly exhales through clenched teeth and says in a low voice, still massaging his temples. Damn it, my thoughts are astray. I will try to explain everything to you in full detail. Many living things are capable of performing the most extraordinary feats, good or bad, when a deadly threat looms over them. 10 years ago, the young Count found himself cornered, in every sense of the word, and he allowed some alien entity to intercede for him. It frightens me that all my experience as an Inquisitor is completely useless in this case. It does not resemble anything I've ever heard or read about. This entity, I think I will call it the Other, possesses uncanny power. It was capable of instantly killing 3 greater demons, a mighty cleric, and a host of other mortals. You saw everything yourself. What's even worse is that this entity, this Other, it is still here. Liotr takes a long pause. His gaze is drawn to the chamber where all the guests are laughing and dancing. Daeran's eloquent voice rises above the music for a moment. He's asking someone to bring more wine and add more logs to the fire. I don't know what exactly this creature is, but I know what it did to the Count. It turned him into a living gateway. The Other is not inside the Count's body. It is not directly controlling his mind. That's why there are no obvious signs of possession. But it is looking through his eyes. It treats him like a window into our world, and it can instantly step through it to wreak whatever havoc it desires. Does Daeran know about all this? Yes, of course he does. Did you hear what the Other tried to convey to us? Help in exchange for a secret. Death. Death to those who know the truth. It wants to have an opportunity to use the Count as a gateway without anyone knowing. This is what made Daeran deny that he remembered anything about the conclusion of the events at Heaven's Edge. What does this thing want? This is the strangest thing about it all. It came to this world 10 years ago, and it's still here, right? All this time it has been watching us through the eyes of the Count. Had it, for instance, wanted to kill Her Majesty the Queen, it would have had plenty of opportunities to do so. The Count can get close to practically every influential figure in Mendev, but the Other refuses to act. Or its interests lie in some other sphere. So it was the Other that killed everyone then? Not the, demon disease? Not everyone. Just Nestrin, his paladins, and the few remaining guests. Damn it. I know that this was the work of a mysterious omnipotent entity, but it still stings. I was here 10 years ago, and I didn't check everything personally. And those who did failed to sense that something was wrong. You think this has anything to do with all those severed heads I keep finding? I just assumed it was Kaz, but this could also explain it. It seems very likely. I am almost certain you are right. People tend to lose their heads when they get too close to Count Arende anyway. Ha! I do apologize, that was inappropriate. Perhaps your gruesome findings are the heads of some cultist who tried to kidnap the Count during the Canabras slaughter. Or perhaps they provoked the Other in some other way. We did find a circle of decapitated bodies in the Canabras Market Square, and it did mention they were decapitated post-mortem. Plus, I guess we did have all those dead demons that showed up in our bedroom at that one point, but they weren't decapitated. Okay, so what do we do now? Yes, now I understand Father Nestrin perfectly. I must make a crucial decision despite a dearth of information. The Inquisitor falls silent for a while. Then he looks you right in the eye. Commander, first and foremost, I must apologize to you. Second, I must ask you to keep this secret. Oh, good, an apology. Why? I apologize for dragging you into this mess. You see, the other, an entity of immense power, stated very clearly that it would kill anyone who found out the truth. Anyone who knows that the Count is actually its living gateway. I suppose this secret is currently known to 3 people on Golarion. You, me, and Count Daeran. And that means... Liotr gives you a crooked smirk and shrugs. Right, yeah, that. And you want me to keep it a secret? Also, I'm pretty sure Risk also knows about this now because he's right over there. As soon as the Count finds out that we know his secret, the other will understand it as well. We do not know what it is, and what exactly is the scope of its powers. But we do know that it would dispose of anyone who might reveal its existence. I've made a decision, Liotr says gravely. I will not tell anyone about the discovery we've just made, not even the Queen or my superiors. Instead, I will immediately go to Neurosian and sift through all of the archives of the Inquisition in order to find out what exactly we are dealing with and how it can possibly be defeated. I may also make some cautious inquiries in other places, including Absalom. Still, I will not reveal the truth until I have found at least some reliable information. I am asking you to do the same. Specifically, do not say a single word about our investigation to the Count himself. Wait, so he's got an Elder God in his head, and you want me to just keep on keeping on? I'm afraid you won't be able to hide from the consequences when this bomb does explode. It is up to you to decide, though. So, if we get this taken care of, Daeran's not in any trouble, is he? He was just a kid when this all went down. Right now, I'm a lot more concerned about the other. But when we find a way to get rid of this entity, the Count will have to stand trial. Many things about this case are still unclear, including the extent of his guilt. Did he call upon the other by himself, or did he simply answer its call? Could he refuse its offer, or would it have led to his immediate death? Every detail is important, and every testimony needs solid proof. That is the difference between righteous justice and blind vengeance. Sure. Yeah, look, I'm going to be square with you, Liotr. I can't promise I'm not going to tell anyone. It's your choice, Commander. Just let me remind you again. Be careful. Now, I recommend that you go back to the guests and spend the rest of the evening as you please. Anything else might raise suspicions. I must leave immediately in search of the knowledge we all need so desperately. Farewell, Commander. May the light of Iomedae guide your path, and Liotr Hawkblade will try to keep your path to triumph clear of any unwanted guests. Yeah, good luck with that. Obviously, we're not just going to go around blabbing about Daeran's secret, but I do want to keep my options open, just in case. Anyway, we're coming up on time, so let's check in with the party, have a quick chat with Daeran, and I think we're done. Ember! You know what I just realized? Daeran was afraid to come here, and so that's why he did it. Because of that fear. Insightful as ever, Ember. That's why you're my favorite. After Kaz. Man, Risk gets around. I don't want to complain, but I'm not sure I'll be able to endure another hour of this outrageous debauchery. I liked the party. It's a pity it's already coming to an end. I don't know if my opinion matters to you at all, but you were the very best guest I could ever wish for. Well, thank you, Daeran. I was really worried that last question would have soured you on this. Huh. Fine. I admit that the celebration wasn't that bad. I even feel less inclined to give Daeran a good slap. Let's not go crazy here. He could definitely use a good slap every once in a while. In fact, he might even like it. I've been watching her count and wondering, if you imagine his head as a boiling pot, then what kind of brew is bubbling inside? I'm sorry, what? Also, it's octopus. Are we leaving already? Yeah? No? I wouldn't mind staying for a little while. I hope this travesty is finally over. There is a common opinion that any party like this one must inevitably end with a fight. If you were trying to encourage me to check this hypothesis personally, then I'd rather observe from afar. Really? I figure you'd be the eager catalyst that started the fight, for the sake of science. You're slipping, Ennio. And with that, we're done. It took a bit longer than I expected, but we got it all wrapped in one episode, so not bad. That aside, I really enjoy this arc. We played through it in the beta, but it's a very intriguing story, and it explains a lot about why Daeran behaves the way he does. At any rate, we're pretty much out of time, so we'll hit the pause button for now, but we will pick up here next time, as we hit that old dusty trail, knock out a few demon armies, and continue the march on Dresden. Things are about to hit the fan. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Live every day like it's your last. After all, nobody knows when that day will arrive, do they?